Hello everyone, welcome back to English Corner with me, Fitra. Today I want to share one of English grammar, which is about indirect question. All right. Before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. Okay. Indirect question. What is indirect question? What is the function of indirect question? The function of indirect question is actually to make our question more polite or more formal. Okay, more polite or more formal. Usually in indirect question, we use certain expressions, yeah. But before that, I want you to understand this first. Affirmative and interrogative sentence. Remember, affirmative means positive sentence and interrogative means a question. To make a question, usually we need auxiliary. For example, in this sentence here, we have sentence Bob works for my father. This is simple present tense. In simple present tense, when we want to make it into a question, usually we use auxiliary do or does. Yeah, if we use action verb like this works, we use do or does. Does Bob work for my father? That's the question or the interrogative sentence. The next one here we have Bob is a driver. Bob is a driver. The sentence used to be as the verb. If the sentence, this is also simple present. If the sentence used to be, we just use the to be before the subject when we want to make it into a question, right? That's the basic lesson, yeah. Elementary lessons. Is Bob a driver? That's the question. And then the next one, Bob went to Bali last week. This is simple past tense. In simple past tense, we use verb to. And if you want to make it into a question, usually use auxiliary did. Okay, did. If the sentence, once again, use action verb like here. When is an action verb, so we use did for the auxiliary. Okay, and then the next one is Bob has bought a new car. This is present perfect. In present perfect, usually, not usually, the structure or the formula for present perfect, we use has or have. Okay, has or have. When we want to make it into a question or into interrogative sentence, we put has or have before the subject. Has Bob bought a new car? That's the question or interrogative. The last one, we can also use modal. Yeah, modal, like will, may, might, could. We use modal. For example, here, Bob will quit his job. When you want to make it into a question, you put the modal before the subject. Will Bob quit his job? Once again, this is the structure of a question. For a question, usually we need auxiliary, and usually we put the auxiliary before the subject. Okay, that's interrogative sentence. Next, let's continue. Now we are trying to make an indirect question from direct questions. Previously, here, this one, this is what we call as direct question. Okay, in direct question, we put the auxiliary. We need auxiliary, and we put the auxiliary usually the before the subject. Next, we try to make them into indirect question. To make them into indirect question, okay, the first thing that you have to remember, there are two types of indirect questions. We can use yes or no question or yes or no question or WH question. If the question is yes or no, just like in this example here, this is yes or no question. Do you have a screwdriver? The answer is yes, I do. No, I don't. That's yes or no question. If the question is yes or no, so what we need is if. We put if. Okay. And then in indirect question, like I said, we usually use certain expressions. For example, here we use could you tell me? Could you tell me? Could you tell me? And then after that, we use if. Why do we use if? Because this is yes or no question. All right, we use if once again because the direct question is yes or no question. Could you tell me if? And then after if you pay attention, you don't use a question structure anymore. So this one is not a question structure, right? Remember, in a question structure, we put auxiliary before the subject. That's a question structure. All right. Here we don't use a question structure anymore after if. What we use is an affirmative, yeah, a statement. what we use is a statement structure. The statement can be positive, can be affirmative, or can be negative. But the point is, after if, we use statement, not a question structure anymore. Just like here, after if, we use you have a screwdriver, right? You have a screwdriver. So we don't say do you have. We don't use auxiliary anymore. Do you understand? Okay, that's the first one. Next, is that Bob's car? Is that Bob's car? This is also yes on a question. So we also use if. Besides using could you tell me, we can also use I wonder. To start an indirect question, we can also use I wonder. Remember, if you use I wonder, in the end of the sentence, you don't use a question mark. Here, in the end of the sentence, here, we don't use question mark, but we use full stop. That if you use I wonder. Once again, is that Bob's car? We make it into indirect. I wonder if, why if? Because yes on a question. And then after if, we use statement. Okay, that is Bob's car. See, from is that, we make it into that is, right? Statement. This is statement. That is Bob's car. Okay, the next one. Did Sonia go to Luna's house? Did Sonia go to Luna's house? This is a simple past tense. And then we use could you tell me? And then we use if. After if, we use statement. Sonia went to Luna's house. So we don't use auxiliary did anymore. See, we don't use did, but we change go into verb to. Why verb to? Because past tense. Okay. Do you understand? Yeah, we use verb to went because the structure here is in simple past tense. Could you tell me if Sonia went to Luna's house? You see, this is the statement. Remember, this is the affirmative sentence. Sonia went to Luna's house. When you make it into a question, did Sonia go to Luna's house? See, that's why I want you to understand about affirmative and interrogative before this. The next one, has Andra bought the ticket? This is also yes or no question. The answer is yes, he has, or no, he hasn't. Because it is yes or no question, we use if. Yeah, we use if. We use I wonder, could you tell me? Yeah, it's up to you what you want to use. I wonder, and then if, and then statement. Andra has bought the ticket. Andra has bought the ticket. Okay, that's yes or no question. What about WH question? In WH questions, the structure is the same with yes or no question. I mean, we don't use interrogative structure anymore, but we use statement structure. The difference is only, the difference is only in WH question, we use the WH, not using if, but we use the WH that we use in direct question. For example, here, the direct question use what for the question word. So in our indirect question, we also use what, not if, okay? Once again, we use the WH word, not if. Why? Because this is WH question, not yes or no question. And then after what? Sorry, after could you tell me? And then we use what? And then statement. Your major is. What's your major? Okay. So we say, could you tell me what your major is? Could you tell me what your major is? So we don't say, could you tell me what is your major? No, that's the wrong one. The correct one is what your major is. Why? Because we use could you tell me before that. It will be different if there is no could you tell me. Okay, if there is no could you tell me, we just say it, what's your major? Direct question. Okay, the next one, how do you study? How do you study? This is WH question. I wonder how you study. We don't use do anymore. Yeah, we omit do. Yeah, we omit do, and then we just use statement. I wonder how you study. Next, where did Sonia hide her money? Where did Sonia hide her money? This is WH question, simple past tense. And then the indirect question is, could you tell me where Sonia hid her money. Why hid? This is verb 2. Verb 2 from hide. Why use verb 2? Because the question using past tense. Okay. Could you tell me? And then WH word and then statement. Then, who will you meet tomorrow? Who will you meet tomorrow? The indirect question is, I wonder who you will. See, not will you, but you will. I wonder who you will meet tomorrow. Okay, that's about direct and indirect questions. Hopefully, you can understand this easily. And if you still have problems with this, maybe you can ask in the comments. Okay. Once again, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe this channel. Okay, I think that's all for today. See you again next time.